What's going on, people? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. For those of you guys who don't know, I am a currently serving police officer from the UK. I respond to police related content throughout the internet. Today I'm going to be looking at officers helping a pregnant teenager escape an abusive partner. Without any further ado, let's get straight into that video.
Staffordshire led the way as the first force in the country to fit all its frontline officers with the body cams.
Hi Doc, did you call us?
Yeah.
With over 500 now in use,
Put you in cuffs for everybody's safety for the moment.
they're helping to protect both the public
Get you in the recovery position.
and the police by capturing evidence on camera.
He just said it helps to protect the public and the police by capturing evidence on body camera. I'll second that. Literally, my favourite piece of kit is probably going to be my body cam. The amount of evidence that it collects without me having to reiterate anything, without me having to go out of my way to do it. I just jump out the car, put my body cam on. Any accusations against me can get knocked away with that body cam. It holds me in check, and usually when people see the flashing light of a body cam, anyone who's in the right mind starts to think about their behaviour and realise if they do something stupid, they're not going to get away with it.
And I need to establish that you're illegal to drive that car.
Since the introduction of the body cams, studies have shown that complaints against the police have fallen by over 90% across the UK.
Just before it changes scene, I'm not just going to skip past that. You heard what we said. Since the introduction of body cam, complaints against the police have dropped over 90%. So as people recording the police on mobile phones go up, you think with a corrupt police force, complaints would go up and convictions of officers would go up. But now complaints are starting to fall because officers have a leg to stand on to say, actually no, I didn't do that because you're black. I didn't do that because you're a woman. I was not using unreasonable force. I did that for a reason, and it's now all evidenced on our body cams. I would say a lot of the rest of it probably just does come down to what people would call incivility.
Hanley, Stoke-on-Trent. Saturday night, 8 p.m. PCs Kerry Broadhurst and Rich Farrer have just received details from the control centre. A teenage girl fears for her safety and that of her unborn baby.
I've been arguing with my boyfriend and he said I need to leave the house. I'm 6 months pregnant. I'm frightened in case he pushes me around and I'm pregnant.
Been to the address before. I went with social services a couple of weeks ago. So she's aware that if she's still with him when the baby comes along.
So you just saw there, that officer, he's got what looks like a mobile phone in his hand. I've been told myself a few times when I'm at jobs, oh, you're not even acting like you're paying attention, officer. You're being disrespectful. You're checking social media at a job. No, I'm not. These are work issue, what we call mobile devices. It's effectively a mobile phone which has had all of the programs taken off it and it's been filled with police programs. So as I'm going to a job, if you're the passenger, you need to be getting live updates and feeding that back in to your partner who's driving. You need to be making your risk assessment based on what's written on that, what we would call police log. You need to be getting the fresh updates in. The call was a lady saying that she doesn't feel safe for her and her baby, or she's pregnant, whatever. She doesn't feel safe. Her partner's pushed her. So as soon as you get there to safeguard, you can immediately arrest him and bring him out of the house. But let's see what happens.
The baby will be taken off her.
A recent study suggests that more than 13,000 babies at risk are taken into care at birth or soon after in England alone.
We'll see if we can find somewhere else for her to go, really, I would imagine. But it's always the same. She never wants to go. He's got quite a lot of hold over her.
The 19-year-old...
So she just said there, we want to find a place for this lady to go, but she never wants to go. So potentially that's a situation of them turning up there, and the reason why I said before, as soon as they get there, they can arrest. He's committed an offence, he's pushed her, that would potentially be a common assault if there's minimum a common assault if there's no injury. He can be arrested on the spot. In the UK, we have to have what is called Code G, or necessity, to make an arrest. And part of the necessity there would be to protect a vulnerable person. So when it comes to a domestic case like this, the reason why we may need to arrest is to protect a vulnerable person, to prevent further harm to the victim. Prompt and effective investigation, because we need an interview and we need to secure evidence by the interview. The only other way of us getting around a lot of that would be if she doesn't want to make a complaint, therefore we don't need to get the evidence right now because the other party potentially doesn't want to give a complaint. But we've got two more things to look at. We need to prevent further harm to the victim, and also we need to protect the vulnerable person. Namely, it's going to be this unborn child and the female party. If she doesn't want to make a complaint, rather than just putting the man in the cell for no reason, what we can look at doing is we can look at separating parties. And what this female officer is saying in the past, because she doesn't want to make a complaint, what we've had to do is just take her to another address and safeguard her there. We put her in this other address, we make that sure that she's safe and secure, and we put a load of referrals in place so she can be best looked after. If by any chance she said, I'm not going anywhere, I don't want him arrested, but I'm not going anywhere, we may have to take the initiative and say, mate, you need to go, and if he also refuses to leave, we can still arrest him for that original assault because he still committed the offence. So there's other ways of getting around it. There's plenty of ways to, skin a cat? But let's see what happens.
The girl's partner is also in the house.
Hello, you okay?
What is it?
Say again?
What is it?
Do you want to come into the other room and just have a word with me?
Yeah, okay.
Does he know that you've rang us?
No.
No, okay. What's happened then today?
Oh, just today I was sitting on the phone and he came to me. He was just grabbed the phone and start swearing at me.
Okay.
And told me to get out of this house. And I want to leave because I don't want. It's just kicking me out.
Okay. Where are your parents?
They in here, but I don't get on with them.
Not something that you would consider contacting them? No. When social services came before, they found you somewhere, didn't they? But you didn't go.
Yeah, they didn't go.
You're not.
So she just said that her parents, they're nearby, but I just don't get on with my parents. A lot of that is quite common, especially when it comes to young females who are in these domestic violence situations. If their family know that they are being abused by their partner, relationships can break down quite quickly. The one party thinks, actually, you know what, I want to stay with my partner, I love him, I can fix him. You probably can't fix him. And then you've got their family who's trying to say, look, wake up, he doesn't love you, he's abusive. This provides a perfect kind of stage for an abuser to get in there and take the place of that family. A lot of these abusers will do something what we call coercive control, and they'll put things in place to try and control this individual's life. And part of that is saying, I don't want you to speak to your family, I don't want you to see your friends, I don't want you to do this and that. And it leads to a further breakdown of the relationship, which was already crumbling. But let's see.
Safe here, are you? And we need to get you out. But you've got to want to do it. And it's got to be for good. Yeah. Because there's not just you to think about now, is there?
You had an argument with her? When?
In the morning.
Right, okay.
That's when maybe she rang the police.
Out, okay.
The girl is heavily pregnant with the man's child. Kerry's worried he could become aggressive and wants to get her out. Quickly.
Are you coming with us now?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you got a bag to pack or anything?
Yeah, I packed.
It's packed, okay. Right, I'm just going to make a few phone calls now.
She calls a shelter agency hoping to find temporary accommodation for the girl until social services can take over the case.
I was just ringing just to see if there was anywhere that you would be able to put her up for the evening or until the office is open on Monday at all.
So they're going to be contacting, we have various numbers. We have various numbers for social services, EDT. We'll contact them and we'll give the details of the family. We'll give the details of the individuals involved and explain there's a newborn baby and say, hey, what can you do for us right now? What kind of information that you can give us to best serve these people? What kind of help are they getting now? But right now we need somewhere for these people to stay. There's been plenty of times where I've been taking vulnerable young women like this along with their kids, and literally I feel like I am. Do you know the holiday? Do you know the massive taxi buses when you go on a holiday and they help you with your bags and your suitcases and all your belongings? That's literally been me on a night shift, taking literally bags and bags of luggage out of a young lady's house so that she doesn't need to come back, and filling it into a public order carrier, no, a big riot van, filling that full of their belongings, and then dropping half of it off at a friend's house and then dropping them off at a hotel where they can stay the night. And it's a really tough situation. These girls feel really vulnerable. But it's good if they can get their belongings out of that house, because part of the reason why they feel that they need to stay is because of the security of having somewhere to live. Some of these arsehole perpetrators are not going to leave that address. They're not going to leave, so sometimes the female party does eventually have to leave.
I'm going to get her in the car now because I don't want her in the house.
I'll ring you since you've got a room and then I'll call you back.
Brilliant, thank you ever so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Right, this is really happening now, okay? No messing about, okay? Get what you need, and we're going to go out the front door now and put it in the car. Rich, I'm going to get her a hotel. Can you try and keep him in here? I just need to take her somewhere else so that he's not going to put up a fight when she goes out. So I'll get her stuff in the car and then I'll let you know. So I think she just needs to get out. In the past, when social services have been, she's said that she's not prepared or not ready. The fact that she's said that she wants to go tonight and she's actually packed her bags already, for me is a big statement.
But Kerry still needs to get the girl out of the house without her partner realising.
Hang on. Where are you going?
I'm going outside.
Hey?
Outside.
Wait outside.
Why?
Hey?
Why?
I'm asking you to.
So the narrator's just then said they need to be able to get this girl out of the house before her partner realises. This dude, he's become accustomed potentially to abusing this lady, so he's probably always thinking about her every move. He's probably always suspicious of her, and like most people who we deal with, he's always going to be suspicious of the police. So right now he's sweating, hoping this woman better not tell these police a thing, or I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to tell her family this. I'm going to do this with her belongings. I'm going to do that. I'm going to threaten her with this. This is probably, if he's an abuser, this is probably what's going through his head right now. The right thing to do was to have this conversation in private. They separated both parties so he can't influence her decisions anymore. Get her in the back of the car and just get her away from there as soon as possible.
Just wait until he goes in the other room and we'll get your stuff out. Get what you need, and we're going to go out the front door now and put it in the car.
With Rich keeping the man in the room next door, Kerry takes the opportunity.
Social services will come and see you tomorrow at the hotel, and then on Monday they'll be finding you somewhere to stay, okay?
I'm just talking to my colleague.
Okay, so we've got her a place at the hotel. It's far enough away that she's going to be safe. There is quite a few people congregating outside, and he was on the phone.
So they just said social services is going to try and find her somewhere to stay in the following days. Finding hotels, we have debit cards and credit cards at the police station, which we can use to be paying for these hotels. We've got stuff so we can sort this out, but it's not a long-term solution. But finding permanent residence for people in this situation is notoriously difficult. It's even worse if you're a young man. More time you're going to be at a homeless shelter or on the street. But you can imagine the kind of the fear this lady's going through. She's never gone through this in the past. Now it's going all the way. Understandably, the police are like, come on, let's get going, let's get this moving, because they understand that it could just be the smallest thing which could make her fold and say, you know what, I'm going to stay. But yeah, finding accommodation for situations like this, the funding isn't really there, so it can be really difficult to find. Sometimes it involves us taking the victim to the police station and then remaining there for hours. I've been running in there buying out of our local tuck shop, which is run by one of my mates. Thanks, Luke. Going into the tuck shop and spending like a £5, buying a load of crisps and a load of chocolate so I can give it to the victim and her children while she's waiting in the police station. It's a crap situation all round.
Earlier, so I suspect that might be something to do with him. So I'm going to give Rich a shout and get him to come out, and we'll get her gone before it kicks off. Mate, are you free to come out?
Yeah.
Can I come outside just see what's happening?
2 seconds. I'll come and speak to you. I just need to speak to my colleague. I'll just come and speak to you in a second, okay?
But Rich has no intention of returning. He makes a hasty exit straight into the waiting car outside.
So I'll take you to the hotel. You'll be nice and safe. Does he know she's gone or not? No, he doesn't even know you've gone.
Social services will attempt to get the girl into a safe place for abused women. In the meantime, the hotel will provide temporary protection from the girl's partner.
Do you think he'll find you here? No. Good. Let's get you inside. Are we okay to just do some quick...
So they're going to get this girl into a safe place for abused women. Did the officers lie to the guy and say, yeah, I'm going to be right back, and then did the dash? He did. Was it the right thing to do? Yes. Another thing what you need to consider when you see this headline that you might see a police officer and say police officer found to be lying, and you think, oh, corrupt cops. Sometimes we do, no pun intended. We do tell a few porkies, we do tell a few fibs to try and how can I put it? To try and get the best outcome out of the situation. Put yourself in this officer's shoes. She potentially doesn't want him to be arrested for snatching the phone out of her hand, which could constitute a common assault. She may not want to make a complaint about that, so the only other option they've got is to remove her from the address, because she might say, actually, arresting him is going to make it worse. I don't want to go to court anyway, just remove from the address, I'm happy to leave, which I imagine is the situation they find themselves in. He turns around and said, you know, mate, what we're doing, we're not going to arrest you today, but we're taking your missus somewhere else, and she's not coming back to you, mate. Do you know your baby, which is just about to be done in the oven? You might not be seeing that baby. So don't contact her, because if you do contact her, you'll be in trouble as well. And no, you can't say goodbye to her. If this dude's already got a hot head, what's going to happen? So it's alright saying that the police are violent and heavy-handed. If we wanted violence in that situation, we would have called another 10 officers down there and then laid it on him thick, said, you're an idiot, we're taking your missus, haha, goodbye. But no, these officers are trying to use tact to try and make sure that we're not put in a situation where we have to be going to blows with a young man who's like, where's my missus, where's my baby? And that's kind of what we're dealing with here.
Questions with you, is that okay?
In the last year, Staffordshire Police have responded to over 9,000 recorded incidents of domestic abuse. It's important Rich establishes the girl's level of vulnerability by doing a dial test, a checklist for identifying and assessing risk.
Is what's happened today worse than what's happened before?
No.
What are you scared might happen?
When he's angry on me, I can't stop him, and then I'm scared, so he hits me with something, or he's telling me that this baby is not his, that I stay with too many people.
So this will get sent off, and social services will have access to this.
So she just said she's afraid that sometimes he gets upset and then hits her with something. I think they called it the dial. Apparently staffs use dial. Other forces call it the DARA or the DASH. It's basically a domestic abuse risk assessment. We did put this in place to determine the level of risk the victim is under and the people around them are under. Some of these questions are going to be, does he use weapons against her? She's already answered that by saying that sometimes he'll hit her with things. Is this the first time? No, because he's snatched the phone off her today, which was a common assault. He's hit her with something in the past. So this has happened more than once. How many times has it happened? I think one of the questions at the end is going to be on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being not likely at all and 10 being very likely. How likely do you think it will be that he will seriously injure you in the future? It shows you how many risk assessments like this I've done. We can reel it off like that. But the reason why we do this is because they might determine after they finish that risk assessment that moving her to a hotel isn't enough. This guy is a nasty piece of work, and we're going to go straight back round there and we're going to lock him up right now just to make sure, just to ensure that she's going to be safe. Because we at the end of this, it will be put into different risk categories that might be standard, medium or high risk. If this is high risk, I'm thinking I might be putting on an intelligence log detailing some of the things that she said. So officers in dealing with her in the future have even more information to work with. I would consider arresting him anyway. I would consider buying her getting another mobile phone for her with a new SIM card. So if he finds a way to get hold of her phone, she can contact me through another mobile phone. I'll be considering asking her to contact as many family members as she can to tell them what's going on in the situation. But 100% going back there and locking him up straight away, I'll be doing that. So that's the reason why we do these risk assessments. Again, this is not just an officer being antisocial, going on his phone. There's method to the madness. Happens for a reason. Let's go.
And they'll contact you tomorrow, like my colleague was explaining. Sorted? Feel safe now? Yeah? He won't know that you're here. The only way he will find out is if you tell him. Okay.
I think she's obviously quite shaken, but I think she's probably relieved as well. I think she's very vulnerable. She's very young as well. And he is so powerful that she just doesn't know how to get out of it. It does get a little bit personal, I suppose. As a mum, she's 6 months pregnant. I feel for her, I really do. It's a hard position to be in.
Despite all Kerry and Rich's efforts, the girl returned to her partner later the same evening. Police carried out a further safety check, and no charges were made as a result of the incident.
And there you have it. She's gone back to the address later that evening. Now, we don't know if she's turned up back there because she thought, actually, you know what, I love him, da-da-da-da-da, or if he's contacted the female party and said, listen to me, you're going to get back here or I'm going to smash your head in when I find out where you are because there's a tracker in your phone. And again, that's why we do the risk assessment, because if he's the type of person who would do the latter, he's going to make threats like that. He's getting locked up even if she's on the other side of the planet. We'll lock him up because domestic abusers have a way of worming their ways back into these relationships by coercion, by threat or by force. Tell me what you guys think about the situation. Tell me if you guys think the officer should have just locked him up and been done with it. Would I have locked him up? It depends on the situation. Obviously, this is just a little snippet of what's going on there. With a bit more information, potentially yes. If in the past, after they've been separated, he's gone out of his way to try and track her down, he's going to get locked up because obviously moving her to a safe place isn't enough. But all of the officers out there, tell me what you guys would do. All you civilians out there, give us some input. What do you think we should be doing as well as what we currently do in these situations? Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back with another one soon. Peace.